I was 12 when this happened to me, one late Christmas Eve, back in the early 2000s. By this age, I knew that Santa wasn't real, spoiler, and based on that logic, one would assume that his evil brother, Krampus, who was the Antichrist of Santa, does not exist either. I'm sorry to tell you that you're wrong. How do I know this? Well, I've seen it. Let me take you back to that Christmas Eve when I was 12 and I'll explain to you what happened. We lived in a large suburban house in Adelaide in Australia. December is our summertime, so this particular night was sticky and warm. I was excited for Christmas Day and was struggling to nod off. I was in that state where you are half asleep and half awake, where your body is shutting down yet external stimuli is still affecting you. That's when I heard the sound of cloven hoofs on the roof. My eyes shot open and I concentrated my listening upwards. I knew it couldn't be Santa. He wasn't real. The hoofs continued across our roof, but it sounded off. It sounded like every second step was softer. Like whatever was on the roof was injured or limping. Then I heard it. A thud from downstairs, followed by the sound of chains? I was pretty confused at this point and pulled my covers up to my neck. I could hear the cloven foot making its way slowly up the stairs, the sound of heavy iron chains rattling on each step like death himself was upon my door. I was now wide awake, and at this point it's difficult to describe my feelings. I just want to say that this was a time before the internet was commonplace in our family, and I'd never heard of Krampus. All the signs were pointing to it being Saint Nick in my head, but I had grown out of that a couple of years ago. So, at the time, I was sat in bed wondering who, or what on earth, could be in my house, right outside my room. I had a feeling I'd find out soon as my doorknob slowly twisted and clicked as the door began to open. I now had the covers over my entire body and my clammy hands were clenching them tight. I heard an animalistic breath and the same rhythm of hoof, soft step, making its way across my bedroom and the rattling of those deathly chains. It stopped abruptly, as did the breathing. I never moved, never opened my eyes and never pulled the covers down, but I knew this thing was stood right at the end of my bed, watching me. I dared not move, but during the heat of an Australian summer, I felt close to passing out. Nothing had happened for what felt like a lifetime, so I slowly and cautiously began pulling the covers down. I wish I hadn't. As the cover drifted down under my eyes, I opened them and my eyes fixed directly to the end of my bed. There I saw this beast, as black as the night, hunched over. It had two curly goat-like horns protruding from the crown of its head, thick, greasy black fur covering the entirety of its hunched body, apart from its face that was disgustingly and unnervingly human in nature. It had piercing red eyes and one cloven hoof and one human-like foot still covered in the fur. It had a small and curly pig-like tail that protruded from its buttocks and thick rusty iron chains binding its limbs together in a way that I imagine would make it painful for this creature to walk. But it did. Around my bed and next to my scared head, its chains playing their haunting melody. The beast stared right into my eyes, into my soul. It breathed. I whimpered and then it slowly drifted back, out of my room, without breaking eye contact with me, I heard the chains drop down each and every stair in my house with agonising slowness. I never moved an inch, even when I heard the hoof on my roof. Christmas Day was ruined for me that year. I couldn't concentrate on anything, and I became slightly introverted regarding the events. Even now, I've only told 2 people since then, and I'm not really sure of what I actually saw. Could it have been sleep paralysis? I don't know, because I wasn't fully asleep, and for this creature to match the traditional image of Krampus without me ever have knowing about it is crazy. I've seen the movie Krampus since then, and it didn't look like that as much as it did the traditional Krampus. And I think that's even scarier. Hey guys, Brothers Jackson here. Just a short one for this week. I was going to release the 5 True Scary Ouija Board Stories Volume 2 this week, but I thought with it being Christmas weekend, not a lot of people would be on YouTube because they'll be like spending time with their family and everything, and I wanted to save the Ouija board stories for that because some of the stories I think are really good. And also I figured it was my last chance to cram in a Christmas story before Christmas is over for another year, so I really hope you enjoyed it. Do you think Krampus is real as well? Because it's sort of become sort of like Slender Man over the last few years due to its internet popularity, but it is actually based on real folklore from Austria and that sort of area in Europe. So is there any truth in it, do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification to be notified when I upload a new video, and leave a comment telling me if there's any other videos you'd like to see in the future. Thanks guys.